Greetings everybody, hope you're having a good day, whether you're watching this at morning, noon, evening, or midnight. So let's get to the topic. As the days go by, I am more and more excited, and if you clicked on this video, then you are as well. We are less than a month away. In fact, by the time this video is uploaded and you watch it on that day, it will either be 10 days or less to go, and that is Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. And in this video I just want to go over all the things you need to know going into the game. If you have not kept up to date with all the marketing they have done of the past recent few months, we will talk about it all in this video. So grab a snack, something to drink, or whatever, because we got some interesting things to discuss about this remaster. First of all, what a time to be alive as a Legacy of Kain fan. This feels like a dream come true for those of us that grew up and played these games when we were younger, and anyone that relates to me in this series being a part of their childhood. You know, everything that has been happening is so surreal, with Soul Reaver remasters being announced back in September, then recently the Blood Omen games coming to PS Classics for the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. It finally, after 2 decades, feel like this series is not only coming back to life, but it is gaining the love and recognition it deserves. So for the Soul Reaver remasters, I am excited to dive into the upgraded features of the game, such as the upscaled graphics of the characters, the maps, and the bosses. The updated combat system. We shall see if we get an improvement in the combat system of both Soul Reaver 1 and 2. The ideal of cut content from the original versions of the games being available in the remaster. And if you are a achievement / trophy hunter like myself, then playing one of your all-time favorite games while being able to get trophies / achievements for the game has to be a absolutely wonderful feeling, a wonderful joy of life. Now, I will say, as a massive enjoyer of the Blood Omen games, I would have liked to have seen something done about those games, whether it be like a remaster, remake, or whatever that case may be. That will be a video for another time, but ideally, it was the smart choice for them to make a remaster for the Soul Reaver games, because although the Soul Reaver 1 and 2 are not the first games, they are the selling point of the series. The Soul Reaver games are the selling points of the Legacy of Kain series. When you ask, I don't know if anybody has, when you ask a non-Legacy of Kain fan, what do they know about the series? Or if you ask somebody who is very, very casual in the Legacy of Kain series, what is most of what they're gonna say? What is the most common thing they're probably gonna say? And I can tell you one thing: when I have spoken to people that know little to none about the Legacy of Kain series, the most responses I've got is, "Oh yeah, that game with the blue demon looking guy," which obviously, you know, they're describing Raziel. Exactly. The Soul Reaver games have left a very iconic mark on the series, so while it would have been nice to see something done about Blood Omen 1, I know a lot of people want a Blood Omen 1 remake. I will definitely be making a video about that later down the line. From a marketing standpoint, it was actually the smart idea to remaster the Soul Reaver games first, put them into the spotlight, because ideally, it's going to be the Soul Reaver games that are going to help gather new audience members into this franchise. So in this remaster, you will be able to toggle on and off the old graphics and the new graphics. In this case, if you toggle on the old graphics, it will be the PS1 version of the game. Now, in my case, I grew up off of the Dreamcast version of Soul Reaver 1, and looking back at it, I did not know anything about the PS1 version of Soul Reaver 1, and I gotta say, when I seen the graphics of the Soul Reaver 1 PS1 version, hope I don't offend anybody, but the Dreamcast version of Soul Reaver 1 definitely seems like the much superior. So in this situation, in this case for me, going into the remaster, I do not have a nostalgic attachment to the PS1 version of Soul Reaver. Therefore, I'm going to be playing this remaster on the upgraded graphics. Now, I know people have had mixed reactions on how they feel about the upscale graphics of Raziel, and I believe this stems from the people who have played Soul Reaver 1 on the PS1 version. So obviously they're the ones that are handling this in a different way, and in my opinion, I actually like how Raziel looks. Now, again, not trying to shit on the PS1 version, but I'm just not a fan. I know it's old, like it's old graphics, I understand that, but like Raziel's boxed head with his pointy nose and mouth, and then his eyes are like overtaking his entire face. Again, like I said, Dreamcast version did a better job at that. But anyways, I think they did a really good job at Raziel's, you know, structure and how he looks and stuff. So I really like how Raziel has turned out in the upscale graphics. It looks nice to me. I have nothing more to really say about it. I think it's very detailed in how he looks. Same thing with Kain. I think Kain looks really nice right here. I like Kain. I like Kain a little bit more than Raziel. So coming into this remaster, I was more stoked to see how Kain was gonna look. And I think Kain looks amazing in this remaster. When they were showing him in the Soul Reaver 2 trailer for the remaster, I think Kain looks very intimidating. Kain looks very menacing. He looks demonic and he looks monstrous. And I really like that from Kain. I like to see when Kain looks fearful. Kain is a very powerful vampire, so him being a powerful vampire, he has to look very menacing. He has to look very intimidating, and Kain definitely looks like a very menacing vampire in this remaster. Now, when it comes to the bosses, this is where I've seen people have the most mixed reactions in when it comes to like the upscale graphics, and I get it, but here's the thing. Listen, before we get to that, I think Melchiah and Duma got the biggest upgrades. They got the biggest upgrades. I think Zephon looks fairly the same. He looks the same, just in upscale graphics. That's really it. Rahab is, I have a friend who's like really happy about Rahab's upgrade. In my opinion, Rahab has always looked fucking goofy as fuck to me. Like Rahab has always looked silly looking, so some people's critiques on Rahab looking silly in the upscale graphic, he looked silly back then. Like he looked silly in the the classic graphics. Like he's just a silly looking fucking dude, you know, so it really didn't really matter that much to me. But Melchiah and Duma got the biggest upgrades in these, because here's the thing, and this is what, you know, I've heard somebody else say this, but I've been saying this for the longest time too, since I've seen the upgraded versions of the characters, is that the way I'm seeing the upscale versions of the characters, I'm seeing this as this was what they were going for back then. They were going for these designs back then, but they couldn't because the lack of technology back then. I mean, we're talking a game that's over 20 years old. You know, Soul Reaver 1 came out in 1999. They didn't have the technology back then to make the graphics fully exactly how they envision in their head. So when I look at the designs of Duma or Melchiah, I'm seeing that this is what they had envisioned back then, but they couldn't do it because the lack of technology back then. So that's why I see Melchiah, Duma, really all of them, but mostly Melchiah and Duma I see as like a massive upgrade. And really, I have no problem whatsoever how any of the bosses look. I have no problem with the upscale graphics at all. I think the upscale graphics makes the game look very beautiful. I don't understand why other people have a complaint with it, but you know, to each your own. Everybody is entitled to their opinions, but I really like the upscale graphics. I think they did a good job with the characters, making the characters look very in detail. I think the environment looks very fleshed out and very beautiful. And I can't wait. I can't wait to be able to like walk around, play this game, just look at like the sky, the water, the enemies and stuff, and just like this upscale graphics and whatnot. I think they did a good job with this all. Oh, and one thing I almost failed to mention is what I like about the upscale graphics on Melchiah is that, so in the classic graphics for Melchiah, back then when I would see Melchiah, I didn't know what the fuck he was. All I seen was just a block of polygons. That's it. In the upscale graphics, we can see that he has different body parts holding up his body. And I never knew that back then. I never knew that back then because he just looks like a pile of slop on top of slop. And you can't tell that because, again, graphics back then were not as advanced as they are. So developers could not make out what they fully envisioned in their head with what they had back then. So that's one thing I like about Melchiah. We get to fully see his design fleshed out. The same with Duma. Duma, we get to see his design fully fleshed out, and I really appreciate that. To me, this is a victory. Like, the upscale graphics, in my opinion, is a victory for this game. So that was one last thing I wanted to add on to that. And then as for like Rahab and stuff, like I said, Rahab has always been a goofy looking dude. I mean, even in the classic graphics, his teeth is like stretching like down his mouth. Like, he's always been a silly looking fucking character. Like, he's never not been goofy looking. His death is even funny as fuck. So that said, I'm happy with the upgraded graphics. If you feel a different way in the comment sections, I would definitely like to know what is it about the upscale graphics that you don't like. I am very curious to know. So onwards to the combat system. Now, the combat system. Are we going to get any type of upgrades or improvements into the combat system? Well, as of this video, I haven't really seen anything that really indicates they're going to make anything different with the combat system, which is, I was kind of hoping they would make some sort of improvement with the combat system, because, you know, I'm just going to be real. The gameplay has up until Defiance, gameplay has never been Legacy of Kain's best suit. Like, I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, from Blood Omen 1, Soul Reaver 1, Soul Reaver 2, Blood Omen 2, the gameplay is not that great. It's not. Like, if we're being honest with ourselves, the gameplay of the Legacy of Kain games are not that good until Defiance. It wasn't until Defiance that the gameplay actually seemed very polished and actually fun. So I was really hoping that Soul Reaver 1 and 2 could like get like a combat system upgrade, and maybe it will, maybe it haven't. Maybe we won't really fully see it until we play the game. They haven't really shown a lot of Soul Reaver 2 up until like the last trailer. It wasn't until like the last recent trailer that they started showing a little bit more of Soul Reaver 2, because for this entire time they haven't really been showing a whole lot of Soul Reaver 1. They've been showing more of Soul Reaver 2. I mean, Soul Reaver 1, excuse me. You know, in fact, we still have yet, as of this video, we still have yet to see how Vorador looks from Soul Reaver 2, or Janos, or, you know. So, you know, we've been kind of put off on like a lot of, you know, gameplay footage for the game. So we haven't really seen a whole lot to really see if there's anything new, if there's any differences, or is it just completely the same. I would definitely hope for some improvements in the gameplay aspect. I'm not expecting anything crazy. Like, believe you me, I'm not expecting Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered to just up and about play like Defiance. No, I'm not expecting that whatsoever. But just like a little bit of an improvement, you know, to help them. This will help the new audience, if you want to, you know, take that into consideration. If you want to get new audience members to play Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, this will help new players stick to the game, because again, as a gamer, some people care about story more than gameplay, and then some people care about gameplay more than story. So how about you try to balance out the gameplay aspect? That way, if there's new players coming into the game and they don't really know about the story like we do, like us longtime fans do, they at least got the gameplay that they can, play for and have fun that way. So that's one thing. As of right now, there's not a lot of information on if there is going to be any drastic improvements from the gameplay or not. If there is any improvements or upgrades from the gameplay, it's probably not going to be like anything significantly different. I feel it's going to be fairly the same as the gameplay has always been. Don't want to cause anything janky to happen in the game. So as of right now, there's not a greatly upgraded improvement in the gameplay, at least of what I've seen. And now we get to, in my opinion, my favorite part of this whole remaster is the fact that we are going to be getting trophies / achievements. And I can tell you, as a trophy and former achievement hunter, I am very ecstatic about this. This is very great news for me. And we're seeing this because for any of you that are on PlayStation from the recent PS classics of Blood Omen 1 and 2, that made my entire day. Finding out that we were getting trophies for Blood Omen 1 and 2, that made me so happy. So that is the same case going into these not remakes, these remasters with Soul Reaver 1 and 2. We will be getting trophies / achievements for Soul Reaver 1 and 2. And I can't tell you how happy I am about that. I'm definitely going to be getting platinum for both games. I'm definitely going to be getting the platinum trophy for both games. And for anybody who is watching this that is a fellow Legacy of Kain fan and also a trophy hunter, this one is a good one for you. Now I check every day. I check every day to find out if the list of trophies are finally revealed. And as of right now, they haven't. I even checked even before recording this if they're anywhere around. And right now, they are not uploaded. They are not listed anywhere on the internet as of right now, from what I can see. But I can assure you that if I have to take like a quick guess right now, as of this video, because this could change, mind you, this could change later on. As of this video, if I had to guess, I figured the trophies are going to be like very straightforward. Like it's probably going to be like Soul Reaver 1 is probably going to be like, oh, maybe you get like a trophy for defeating Malkaya, defeating Duma, defeating Zephon, defeating the different bosses. Either the different bosses, or like you might get like a trophy for like the different upgrades or whatever the case may be, considering the fact that the games are like very straightforward. Like it's just campaign, like there's nothing else to it. It's just a story. Like you just progress through the story. I would like to assume that the trophies will be straightforward. Like they will be pretty straightforward. Like as you just make progress through the game and you basically get like all the trophies, as this is what I would assume. And maybe trophies for like the upgrades and whatnot, especially like in Soul Reaver 1, because in Soul Reaver 1 you have to actually go out your way to get some of the health upgrades. So that'll probably be a trophy in itself. And then Soul Reaver 2, since Soul Reaver 2 doesn't really have any actual traditional bosses, my take is Soul Reaver 2's trophies, most of them would be as you get the Reavers. Like each Reaver that you obtain, you will probably get a trophy for. I am almost certain those will be trophies. Getting the Reavers for every progression in Soul Reaver 2, that has to be some trophies. Like that has to be. If it ain't, then I'll be really surprised. But this is one thing that I'm excited for. So not only are we going to be able to play these awesome remasters of Soul Reaver 1 and 2, we will be able to functionally get the trophies if we're on PlayStation, or like if we're on PC achievements. I actually don't know if if this is coming out on Xbox. I don't know. Xbox these days is really getting shafted on a lot. But yeah, I would like to predict that for both Soul Reaver 1 and 2, the trophies and achievements are going to be like very straightforward. So I think in the end we're probably just gonna be able to like just play the game just straightforward, and we're probably gonna get like most trophies, if not all of them. That said, I do plan on doing like maybe like a trophy slash achievement guide if I can get them fast enough. Like I said, I don't really know what the trophies are yet, but if I can get them fast enough, I'll probably like do like a guide video. If there's any type of trophies that may give people like trouble, like, you know, if there's any that might give people trouble, I might do a video of a guide video of getting those trophies. So that's that for the trophy slash achievements. So Soul Reaver 1 and 2 will have trophies and achievements, and I can't wait. I'm very excited to get those. I'm very excited to see how quick I can get platinum. Not that I'm gonna be like speed running or anything like that, but I'm gonna be enjoying myself while also getting trophies for one of my favorite games of all time. And I hope you that's watching this, I hope you are able to experience the same thing as well. So we're not only getting upgraded things, but we're also getting new features, and some of these new features you can find actually on the Crystal Dynamic website. So I'll read it out to you. It's right on their website. So it says new update and features. Navigate Nosgoth with a brand new map and compass. Capture your favorite shots with new photo mode. That to me is a huge W to me. That is a huge victory. That made me so happy, because there's one thing that I'm a sucker for. Well, there's a couple of things like character creation and stuff like that. That's besides the point. There's one of the things that I'm a sucker for in video games right now. It's a photo mode. Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remaster having a photo mode is exciting. That is incredible, to say the least. You know, this is gonna be fun for people to be able to take their cool screenshots if they want to show their friends, if they want to try to show other people. For people who want to like make videos or streams, you can use photo mode to make a awesome thumbnail for your video if you're doing any content yourself. So this is a really exciting new feature, and the fact that like we're getting like a new map, you know, is amazing. A new map and compass. That's really amazing. So that's a new feature right there on its head. And also, you know, new bonus features and stuff. So this is where like, you know, I guess this is like where like the cut content, because I've heard for months now that we're going to be getting content that was cut from like the first game. I don't know if it's like the second game too. I think the second game as well, but like, you know, features that are going to be like for like the cut content and stuff, like the interactive lore maps, you know, view never before seen concept art, and delve into the environments from the Fable lore lost levels. Again, this is what it's saying on their website. So this has something to do with like the cut content and stuff that was never added into the original versions of the game. So that's also something to look forward to. And then it might be some other things. Like I said, when we think of like cut content from a game, there's a lot of cut content that gets cut out from when video games are finally finalized in their release. So even though, you know, it gives us a little bit of information about like what cut content we could possibly be getting, that might not be all. We don't know what else we could be getting. That's why I am looking forward to that as well, because who knows what other type of cut content we can get into the game. You know, I'm not gonna go so far ahead to say anything crazy like maybe we'll get like the Terrell boss fight, you know, because Terrell was apparently a cut content from the first Soul Reaver game, which is why he was not a boss in Soul Reaver 1, and he did not come back till Defiance. He was originally supposed to be a boss for Soul Reaver 1, but he did not make the cut. They cut his boss fight out. If they were to do something crazy like giving us the Terrell boss fight in Soul Reaver 1, that would be absolutely amazing. That would be an absolutely amazing treat to it all. And that would be like a huge surprise, because there's nothing said about that whatsoever. Like, that would be like a huge surprise in terms of like adding the cut content into the game, because like I don't think a lot of people would be like expecting that. So that would be like one hell of a surprise, but most likely high chance that's not going to be the case. But it's still going to be other amazing things we're going to be able to see for Soul Reaver 1 and Soul Reaver 2 that were not originally released in their classic original games. So now we get into the controversial part of the video, which is the female statue, the change of the female statue that has spiraled around the Legacy of Kain community, grasping different opinions all over the place. And I would just say right now, when it comes to censorship changes or anything that is implementing anything that might be woke in a game, I am heavily against, of course. Now, when it comes to the female statue, what happened with the female statue is that a lot of people feel the female statue got changed into a trans statue. So that's where the controversy came from with the female statue. The original graphics of the female statue, it's a very feminine looking woman. It looks like a female. Whereas the upscale graphics of this statue, it looks less feminine, as you could say. Less feminine, more kind of masculine-ish. And that has led some people to believe that they have made the female statue into a trans statue. And I'll just say right now that although, like I said, if any of these things are implemented again, whenever there is anything that might be woke inflicted into a game, I am against. You know, I like for a game to be as fluid and authentic as possible, with no type of changes or anything slipped right into the game that is siding with a specific agenda, political agenda. That said, I don't quite necessarily think that I feel that this statue was changed into a trans statue. I mean, yeah, without question, the statue is definitely less feminine looking than the original version, but I don't necessarily think that this is a trans statue. I think this is just a flaw in the upscale graphics. I think them upscaling the graphics has made a flaw into the female statue. So this is kind of just like a hiccup, if you will. I see this more so as like just one of the downsides of the upscale graphics is the female statue. Obviously, yes, the upscale version of it looks less feminine. Do I think that this is like woke implications? Not really. I'm not going that far. I don't think it's really that deep. Do I think this is a trans statue? Not exactly. You know, an argument can be made. I will say an argument can be made that it might be, but I don't really think that's necessarily the thing here. I think this was just simply bad design. I think upscaling the graphics for this statue was just simply bad design and nothing else to that. That said, one thing that I am super happy about is that Sable has fixed this issue. Sable has actually fixed the statue issue, and we have now a new fixed version of the upscale statue. And honestly, I would say this is amazing. If they're willing to do this, through, you know, negative feedback, if they're willing to fix things through feedback from the fans, that just goes to show that they really care about their fan support, and they're willing to, you know, do things to improve and improvise. And I'm really happy about that. And it also shows one more thing that a lot of people might be worried about, you know, that I don't think we really have to worry about too deep, is that they are not exactly the type that is going to be catering to the modern audience. So that's one thing that I could say that I am happy about. The statue itself, I don't really care about, if I'm being completely honest with you. But the thing that made me happy about this fix in the statue is it shows that if there was more to it, they are not catering strictly for the modern audience. They are, you know, here for their fans themselves. They are here for the Legacy of Kain fans themselves. So that was something that I really liked, and that was something that I feel like, you know, more people who are fans of the series should appreciate the work that they're willing to do to fix things and improve things if they are not met with the fans' eyes. So that had to be included. So I'll be going over the last thing part of this video, which is the releasing and pricing of the game. So Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered will release on December 10, and it will release on multiple platforms such as Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC on Steam. So no matter what platform you're on, this game is going to be releasing on multiple platforms. So you can get this remaster on whichever current platform you're on right now, whether that be Nintendo, whether that be PC, whether that be last gen consoles of Xbox and PlayStation. You can pick this game up right now and you can pre-order it for, as you know, good pricing as $26.99. The normal price for this game is $29.99, $30, but you can get this game right now and pre-order it for $26.99. Now, funny enough, I stand here trying to convince you to pre-order this game, and as you can see right here, I have yet to pre-order this game. So therefore, I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so there you have it, pre-ordered right here now, and the total that it came out to with taxes included was $28.61. So as you see right here, it says 14 days left. By the time you watch this video, the earliest you watch this video, it'll probably be 10 days. It'll be 10 days left of this game. And here on PlayStation, it says if you're on PlayStation, it will start to auto download around December 8th. Now, I don't know where that would be on PC and Xbox. I'm sure they have their own methods of like when they start to download games that are pre-ordered right now. But yeah, so this is it. This is everything we need to know so far until the game is released. So right now, all we can do is like sit and patiently wait until we get our hands on these two amazing remasters. So that's basically it for the video. I feel like covered everything that I wanted to cover in this video. I feel like I covered everything that there really is to know about the remasters. If there's anything you want to add, please do so in the comment sections. I would like to know anything else you want to add that I might have missed in the video, but that will be it for now. So if you like this, please put a like, subscribe, comment down your thoughts on any part of the video, and I will be there to listen. I will be there to answer any questions you have, anything you want to add. I will greatly appreciate it. So that will be it for this video. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.